Okay, I think we should get started now. By my clock, it's 3 minutes past the scheduled time. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. My name is Mark Lovies. I'm the CEO of Datagate. We're the telecom billing specialists that integrate with ConnectWise. And just with me today, I have Liston Pinto, who's our sales solution lead that covers all the regions outside North America. And also on the call have Usman Zahur from our Vancouver office and Greg Robinson from our Jacksonville, Florida office. So we're all here, and we're very used to working in an international time zone mode. I appreciate the time that you're now spending with us. So Datagate is an international provider of telecom billing software. We started off our life 6 years ago in Auckland, New Zealand. Since then, we've spread out around the world. We've discovered that there's a huge opportunity internationally for managed service providers selling the telecom services, which has resulted from the fact that phones and computers are now the same thing. So what's happened all over the world and what's happening at a very fast rate is that MSPs are discovering that selling telecom services is very profitable. It's a really high quality source of recurring revenue, and it uses the same technology that of course they're providing as their part of the IT service to their business customers. And we're seeing business customers all over the world prefer to source their telecoms from their MSP. So it's something that we've identified. It's an international trend, so that's why we're expanding around the world. We've established we're in the process of establishing an office in the UK. We have an office in the USA and Canada, Australia and New Zealand. We have customers in all those regions, and we generally look to move into all the regions that ConnectWise support. So as an Invent partner, we're very committed to our ConnectWise relationship, and we've designed our product accordingly. So Datagate's philosophy is stay in our lane. So we are a telecom billing solution that does precisely that. And so we believe in plugging into the infrastructure that MSPs are using already, ConnectWise Manage and their telecom infrastructure. And so we do not try and replicate things like, and a lot of other billing systems do this on the marketplace. They bring in things like ticketing or quoting or other functionality that actually is covered by ConnectWise and the ConnectWise suite of products. And so we see that causes a lot of confusion with the MSP. Where do I enter this payment, or where do I generate a quote, or I've got multiple pieces of software that do the same thing. And so that is what we mean when we say stay in our lane. When we're looking to fulfill this function of telecom billing and work really nicely with the other software that we have. And I said earlier on too that obviously we often plug into environments that ConnectWise Manage is already there, but also we I guess enable a lot of opportunity for ConnectWise as well, because often the MSP coming in is looking for a system that can build telecom along with IT and all the other services. So we can obviously help you a lot with new opportunities. And I guess the other side of the convergence that we're seeing in the market, the fact that phones and computers have converged, is that not only are IT companies now getting into selling telecom, the other side of it is we're also seeing the telecom companies getting more into things like hosting and IT services. So that convergence is driving a lot of business for all of us, for ConnectWise, for Datagate, and we can be helpful to ConnectWise on both sides of the equation. When you've got telecom companies wanting to go into IT, they can be looking at ConnectWise now as a solution that has all the telecom functionality. So stay in our lane, very important part of our approach. And so what we're trying to do with our integration with ConnectWise, and we are a ConnectWise Invent partner, is that we're looking to add this revenue stream to the ConnectWise suite of products. We share data as much as possible with the ConnectWise environment so that we eliminate rekeying, because that's what all the MSPs want to get away from, rekeying things from one system to another, especially as their companies are growing quickly, and the bigger they get, the more telecom business they get, the worse it gets if they have to rekey things. So we're eliminating all of that. We retain ConnectWise Manage or ConnectWise as the primary source of data. So MSPs say to us, we run our business the ConnectWise way, and we hear that, and so we say with Datagate, you continue to run your business that way. Your staff are looking at ConnectWise Manage primarily, and from there they can see everything that's going on with the customer. So so ConnectWise remains the primary pane of glass to see everything that's going on. One bill for the end customer, that's something that they're always asking us for. So we can insert the telecom billing information into a ConnectWise agreement so that it can be part of an agreement that can cover other services as well. So that's something that's very popular with our customers. And in some areas, some geographies, we have, we also find it's popular for Datagate to generate the invoice in entirety. Where there's complicated formatting required that's of a telecom nature, we can also generate the full invoice if required, and we can push that invoice into ConnectWise Manage as a miscellaneous invoice. We can also read agreements. So the MSP can set up a telecom billing scenario into a ConnectWise agreement, and Datagate will read read that and bill it. And Liston's going to explain that in more detail shortly. So one bill for the end customer and complement ConnectWise functionality, and so that's essentially what we're doing with our stay in our lane approach, not trying to replace functionality. So look, I'll hand over to my colleague Liston now to talk a bit more detail about how the integrations work and how the product works. Thank you, Liston.
Thank you, Mark. So just looking at this flowchart, and this flowchart pretty much shows where Datagate sits within the ConnectWise sort of customer environment. So if you look on the left, so Datagate can pretty much pull in information from any telecom wholesale provider. So in the UK, for example, Daisy and Gamma, the most common ones. There's Vodafone, O2, and we plug into over 150 different suppliers around the world, and PBX platforms as well. So no matter what supplier the MSP uses, we can plug into any supplier via different methods such as API, for example. So when these CDRs or usage files are received by Datagate, Datagate does all the rating. It pushes these usage files into, so we generate the invoice firstly, or a summary. We can either email that invoice to the end customer directly and then push that invoice into ConnectWise as a miscellaneous invoice, or we can generate like a usage summary in Datagate and then push that into a ConnectWise agreement. And that's the most common scenario that we found in the UK out of the 10 sort of customers Mark's spoken about. I'd say almost all of them use the functionality where Datagate generates the usage summary and pushes it into an agreement in ConnectWise. From there, ConnectWise sends the invoice out to the end customer, and the customer can then pay the invoices in the customer and in the ConnectWise customer end portal, which again syncs with the accounting platforms. So this sort of gives you a view of what, and where Datagate sort of sits. So as you see, we're always complementing the functionality that ConnectWise has, and it takes care of invoicing. Just moving on to our next slide. Sorry. So what Datagate does is we take care of two-way flow of information. So the first part is the customer sync functionality, where there's no double entry from the MSP for all their contact or company information from ConnectWise. What we do is we create a customer type in ConnectWise and copy all the customer information into Datagate from ConnectWise using the company ID. And that pulls in customer sites, address and contact information as well. What we also do is we also do a bit of mapping to copy all the agreement information into Datagate automatically as well. So all the products that are in the agreement or in ConnectWise can be viewed in Datagate as well, and the MSP can then pretty much tick products. one thing, we not only pull in CDR data from the suppliers, we can also pull in product information, what we call an e-bill, which pretty much is a line-by-line item of the products and the cost. And yeah, product info, as I said, can be carried over into Datagate from the ConnectWise agreement as well. So ConnectWise literally becomes a single source of truth for all the information, and that's what our customers have asked for. So coming on to our next slide. So what Datagate can do in terms of sending out the invoices is, we can either send out the invoice directly from Datagate to the end customer and then push it into ConnectWise as a miscellaneous invoice, or update the agreement and then the invoice is sent out to ConnectWise. In most cases, as I've said, we're always updating the agreement and sending out the invoices from ConnectWise. However, in some region, sending out the invoice out of Datagate is more popular than updating the agreement. But in the UK, updating the agreement is probably the way to go, we found, through all our customers. So yeah, in terms of the Datagate UI, so we try, so it's quite a modern sort of UI where we have all the tabs on the left, and at the end of the month, we've just got a 3-click process to sort of generate all the invoices and push it into ConnectWise. So yeah, it's quite a modern, simple UI that customers like, and in terms of the workflow, it's very similar to invoicing in ConnectWise Manage, which again, our customers like as well, as most of our customers are ConnectWise users. So this is just an example of what a Datagate invoice or a summary looks like. Please ignore the taxes and charges because this is more of a US invoice, but it just gives you a breakdown of, it's completely white labeled. It breaks it down by product and all the other phone numbers. For example, this is a toll-free number by usage, and it can further break it down by site as well. So it's more of a telecom looking invoice, and this invoice doesn't have to be sent out of Datagate. All these invoice lines can be exported into ConnectWise, which is my next slide. So all the invoice lines could be exported into ConnectWise as additions. So if you look here, there's usage files for, there's additions for all the products and, for example, local national mobile calls as well, and it's broken down by DIDs or DDIs in the agreement itself. And from here, the customer can then generate a ConnectWise invoice, which again shows all the details, which are pretty much the same, and send out from ConnectWise. So yeah, we provide customers with both options. So coming back to our case studies, so Hotline ID is an MSP and a customer of both ConnectWise and Datagate. In fact, Michelle has sort of spoken for a lot of ConnectWise events in Australia, and they're our first customer that helped us build the agreements functionality, and yeah, it sort of saved them a lot of time. And all these case studies can also be found on our website. And what they do is send out one invoice from ConnectWise agreements, which has helped them reduce billing time by 2/3. And we also have a UK case study coming up. So we're just waiting for final approvals from the customer itself, and we should have that up on our website soon.
Very good. If I step in here loud and clear,
yeah.
Greg Barber was one of our early influences too with ConnectWise. So he always felt his case study basically says how he felt that he could do a much better job of doing telecom services to his customers than what the big telecom providers were doing, because obviously he's a much closer relationship with them. And so he was impressed that we could reproduce all the types of telecom plans that the big telecom providers could provide, so he could compete head on with them, but give a more personalized level of service. And it's been very, very successful. He's sort of grown a whole new business out of the telecom side of his business. So one of our very early success stories. It's still being successful. More recently, in the United States, we've got over 100 MSPs there using Datagate, and in that country. And Charleston Telecom, he's mainly saying that how he loves how automatic his whole system is now with ConnectWise and Datagate. He uses one of our other partner products called Connect Booster, which is an American payment handling system. And I think one of the things we demonstrated here with Charleston Telecom is because Datagate shares its data with ConnectWise Manage, our customers can leverage all of the solutions that are available to the ConnectWise platform. And so we end up being partners with a lot of the other ConnectWise partners because our systems complement each other, and that's been the case with Connect Booster. And this is the sort of, I guess, the approach that we bring, and we're certainly looking to form more partnerships in the UK over the next year or two. So in terms of how to recognize a Datagate customer, it's basically if someone's talking that they want to be billing telecom, but that can, they can talk about voice over IP, mobile, can be internet broadband, connectivity, unified comms. Microsoft Teams is something that's becoming very, very popular, and we also have a partnership with Microsoft. We can plug into a Teams environment, and we can monetize that, and so that's something that we see as a big help to us in the telecom side of the ConnectWise business, is that Microsoft Teams is a product that all the MSPs look at and say, well, it's an IT product, that's a part of the Microsoft Office 365 type of suite. And what happens very quickly is once customers start using Teams, it's only a matter of time before they ask the MSP to connect Teams to their telecom system, and suddenly the Teams system becomes not only a sort of collaboration system but also a phone system, and we're working with Microsoft to extract data from Teams for billing, so that really extends Teams back into ConnectWise world as well, and that's quite an exciting opportunity. So anything, SIP, they're talking about SIP or data plans, 3G, 4G, whatever, voice solutions, all these terminology, anything that's telecom related, they should be looking potentially to add Datagate to their ConnectWise system. And remind you that we are in Microsoft, we're a ConnectWise Invent partner, and so you can register sales opportunities through the Invent program to reach us. And you can also contact us directly as well. We respect all the Invent procedures for that. So at this stage, we'd like to see if there's any questions, any discussion that you'd like to have about anything we've talked about here. I think, Usman, if we could just unmute everybody. So.
Yeah, everyone's got the ability to unmute themselves. So if you guys want to come on and unmute yourselves, that's fine. There are a couple of questions in the Q&A box here. Mark and listen, if you want, I can read them out, and if you want to take a stab at answering them.
Please. Yes,
sure. Yeah. So the first one here is, do you integrate with the popular telecoms packages used in the UK?
Yes. When you say telecom packages, I'm assuming you're talking about wholesale suppliers, like the likes of Daisy and Gamma. And yes, we can plug into any supplier. Most of them have a different feed format, but we take care of all different formats. And as I said, yeah, any different supplier or PBX provider like 8x8, 3CX, the common ones.
All right, I've got a couple more
Sorry,
here.
that was my question. Can I follow up?
Yeah, go ahead.
But the question was that we have a lot of partners who are using Union Street's ability and e-bills to commission lines and do recurring billing for lines and calls. Can you integrate with those in order to pass the data over to ConnectWise Manage?
Yes, certainly we can, and so that is one of the modes that we work in. So we listed and talked about CDRs, call detail records. That's I guess a primary input that we work from. That's the actual call records, but we also work from what we call e-bills, which are essentially invoices from the telecom provider to the MSP, and they are in electronic format. And I'm familiar with what you're asking, and yes, we do. We can provide that functionality.
Is that for an additional cost, or is that standard in the package?
The cost of Datagate. Listen, would you?
Yeah, so it's all part of the package, and I can probably send you guys an email of what a cost sort of looks like. So we charge, we start from 2%, which is mainly an industry standard, and I can send you an email of the breakdown and the minimum. So there's no additional cost to that, or additional cost to any of our integration points. It's all part of the package.
Yeah. So we found that percentage of revenue build model scales well with the MSPs as well. It means they can start small, which often happens in the first instance. They might have a lot of IT customers that they are wanting to offer telecom services to, and so they're pretty much starting from ground zero to build up that part of their business. And so by charging a percentage of revenue, and 2% is sort of the industry standard that we're seeing around, is that means that as they get bigger, of course, the whole, as the Datagate's doing more work for them, the charge just goes up. It scales automatically.
Yeah, I think I must have misunderstood completely. Our partners need to be using Datagate to commission new lines and to be getting the CDRs from the providers here in the UK. Does Datagate replace e-bills and ability?
Yes, I mean, yes, certainly that we do regard them as a competitor, and we can certainly replace them. Yeah. So.
Got it. Okay, I think that clarified it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mark. I had a quick question. Mike here. Would Datagate also be a technical fit, do you think, for large telecommunications businesses within the UK? So when I say large, I'm talking upwards of 150 users, or is this more of a fit for, small shop MSPs that also do telecoms billing on the side? And if so, do you have any partners of that size?
Yes, good question. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. So yes, we do scale quite highly. We some of our largest customers, like Dimension Data, or NTT, that I mean, there's two ways that the business can scale. I mean, we know companies like NTT that we're working with are billing very large customers, so they one invoice could be for that many thousands of phone lines. We handle that very well, and we also handle the other side of it, where somebody's doing thousands of invoices. So we can handle thousands of invoices. So I think anything up to sort of what we've experienced so far is 3,000, 4,000, or 5,000 customers, or many invoices. We handle that fine. We're still exploring what the upper limit of Datagate is, because we are on a scalable platform. We run on Microsoft Azure platform, and everything's very scalable. And so we haven't really encountered the upper limit of what we can do yet, but we do have customers that are in the multiple thousands. But we also have customers right down in the, starting from ground level as well. So so we can handle everything in between.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, one question. It keeps coming up time and time again at the moment, because I think we understand the sort of high level of functionality you guys provide, which is really exciting for us. But the question that kind of keeps coming up, and be interested to find out your take on this, and what your existing partner base do, but around like provisioning of new lines, like how are your partners in APAC and North America sort of managing that process alongside ConnectWise and Datagate?
And
Yes.
to add to that, not just new lines, but also mobile provisioning, so through like O2, EE, those kind of companies.
Yes, I mean, what we found in that area, there's so much variation of functionality for the different providers. We've sort of kept out of it. I guess in our stay in our lane approach, we've kept to billing, and that seems to be the strategy seems to be working well with us. We are taking steps to be more and more compatible with provisioning systems, so that we can receive inputs from provisioning systems. We are at present in the middle of a project to integrate with PBXs. When I mean integrate, I mean where we actually get provisioning data from the switch itself. From the we're working on some clients that are using the NetSapiens switch, but we're also looking at switches like 3CX, and so this is where the actual telecom environment tells us that somebody's just added a new phone line, and we can read that back in. But the provisioning does get quite complicated in its own right, and we have not really gone into that level. So that sometimes is that's a discussion point. But we find that the vast majority of our customers are fine with that. What we do is the billing side of it, not the provisioning.
I think just to add to what Max said, when it comes to medium-sized MSPs, they sort of use the supplier's provisioning platform or tools to provision data, but when it comes to enterprise sort of large telco providers or telecom providers, and they plug into, for example, 15, 20 different suppliers, they're probably looking at a single sort of software to do all the provisioning across all the 20 platforms. And that's where they're sort of looking at a separate sort of software just to do the provisioning. However, with Datagate being an international sort of company, it gets quite hard. I mean, targeting the different markets and provisioning challenges because every country, there's different sort of stuff happening, different suppliers. Everyone does provision stuff differently. So it can get quite complicated. So we're sort of looking at worldwide sort of PBX platforms like 3CX and NetSapiens and BroadSoft that everyone uses.
So just to confirm, because I think we understand that stuff. So I guess what I'm interested in is like, because obviously if ConnectWise and Datagate aren't doing the provisioning, like, so I think you said there, Mark, that you can receive a feed from a provisioning platform. So if the partner goes into their provisioning platform, commissions a new like line or whatever it is, that's sort of separate to our two platforms, but ultimately you're automatically collecting the feed and recognizing that line and billing for it automatically. So really it's not actually that much of a problem for them. They just got to go into their vendor's platform.
Exactly.
I think that's fair. That's understandable. I think that's also doesn't sound hugely problematic. And I guess so then from, again, your experience, like what sort of processes do partners use? Where does ConnectWise get used from, like, let's say, a sales perspective to an onboarding project or ticket? Like what have you seen your best partners do? Because it's good for us to provide some insight to our prospects and partner base.
Excellent question, thank you, Alex. So really the combination of Datagate and ConnectWise Manage and ConnectWise Sell actually form a formidable sort of competitive offering for the telecom industry, and we compete. In America, we're competing with products like Revio, OneBill, BlueLogix, and these are the sort of the established players in the American market. But they they include a sort of a combination of what Datagate does and what ConnectWise does, and but I think we do it better, and we compete formidably well against them. We're really taking a lot of customers off them, so really what we're seeing is really the processes of the telecom industry and the IT industry are quite similar in a lot of ways. So a lot of what ConnectWise has to offer in the ConnectWise Sell and ConnectWise Manage, add in the Datagate the billing, telecom, you've got a lot of the functionality there, the support tickets, the quoting, the service work, the portals access. So really, what Datagate brings to the mix is that we can, we work to do the call rating side of things. So Datagate will, we'll plug into the telecom environment, rate the calls, international calls, the toll-free calls, where we can do the bundling, all the plans that the big telecom providers offer their customers. We replicate them all. So your MSP can now compete head on, with the same types of plans that the big providers are offering. They can use all the processes of ConnectWise as a service provider. They can quote telecom, recurring services. They can create agreements inside ConnectWise Manage. Datagate will read those agreements for the billing, so that they can be very ConnectWise centric in their operations. They can provide, all the portal functionality that ConnectWise offers. We can complement that offering with providing what's called as CDR reports, call reports. So if people want to see what their users are doing in terms of call volumes and individual calls, or auditing, why have I been charged so much for toll calls this month? We can provide that functionality at a portal level. So really, it is a big opportunity. It's like opening up a whole other side of the market, the telecom piece. And I know from some of the questions you're asking that you're obviously exposed to this part of the business obviously the questions regarding Union Street, and you're obviously seeing it a lot in the UK, and the fact that we're also getting UK ConnectWise customers reaching us through our marketing through ConnectWise. It's a real opportunity there.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've kind of, it's been a bit of a limitation for us in the UK for the last couple of years, because you kind of continuously come up against other, well, it's not even like other competitors are doing what we can't do. It's sort of like there isn't a perfect solution, but I think it's understanding what is it exactly like and what that process looks like. Because for us, like, a lot of it's just painting a picture for them to say, like, part of the whole ConnectWise ethos is that we'll probably do 80% of what you need, and then that's where the ecosystem and the marketplace comes in.
Yes.
So being able to sort of say, hey, yes, we do have a solution for telecoms billing, provisioning. This is how our partners run it. They have an onboarding provisioning ticket with a set of tasks in there, go into their portal. But guess what? When you use Datagate, it automatically captures the new provisioned line, so you can automate the billing, so that sort of sales to service to finance handoff is seamless. And I think it's just having that messaging, pretty crystal clear. Because I think without having spoken to you guys properly before, I think that's what we were sort of missing. But I think it's awesome stuff, and I think we're pretty excited to try and do some more business, because I think we've been recommending people check you out, but without fully understanding the ifs and the buts and stuff. So but yeah, I think I know Mike's got a pretty sizable deal. I think we'd quite like to get you involved in here, and also we've got a couple of other ones, and I think you're already speaking to a few partners I'd sort of recommended, like Converged and Lithium Systems. So hopefully we can get some more.
One other question I had, if we still have time for a question, Mark, is the onboarding and implementation. So I'm guessing, obviously, when we're implementing ConnectWise Manage, we'd normally be working with, accounting package integrations, people like Zinc or WiseSync or something like that. How do you go through the implementation onboarding? Is there a cost for it? Do you work with the ConnectWise consulting team, or is it done separately? How does that work?
Yes, we have implementation consultants on our team that work collaboratively with ConnectWise, or depending on what's happening. So with sometimes our implementations, they already have ConnectWise established, so that way we're coming in and just adding to an existing system. Sometimes when a new sale is made, the customer may decide to put in ConnectWise first and then add Datagate on second. It depends on the priorities of the customer. but we have consultants very similar to the way you have, and we would work collaboratively with you. And in fact, we're actually very keen to help you at all levels of the customer engagement. You know, we're happy to and very keen to help you with sales, with the implementation, you know, support, all you know, at all levels, just to sort of complement, you know, what you're offering customers. You know, we work in partnership with you. So if you have any prospects that you'd like us to talk to directly with you, you know, we are quite clearly a ConnectWise partner, and we you know, we're used to doing sales calls in collaboration with ConnectWise in various geographies, and you know, present a unified picture to the prospect and the customer.
Perfect. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, so are there any other questions at this stage?
We've got a few questions on the questions tab.
Yeah, go ahead, listen.
Do you integrate with BT and OpenReach? Yes, we do. But just in terms of rating the CDRs that we receive from British Telecom, I think OpenReach is their provisioning sort of platform for PSTN lines. So as long as it's provisioned in there, we can yeah, bring in those phone numbers into Datagate for billing. So can Datagate push in to any agreement and not just name telecom? Yes, and that would have to be mapped during the implementation into what agreement the customer wants to push the invoices to. Yeah, I think most of the rest of them are sort of answered. Any other questions the team has?
Oh, that's all good. Look,
oh, so I'm just going to ask one more quick one. Sorry, who's your kind of go-to partner in the UK that's like you look out for reference calls or you wheel them out for sales evaluations? Is there one specific partner, or?
we're actually in the process.
Yeah, we've got a case study coming up with Aztec in the UK, and we've also got I think Lithium Systems, which is a customer. And
is Aztec the guys? Is that Sean Houghton and crew, the guys in Milton Keynes? There's quite a few Aztecs. Yeah.
Just give me one moment.
I know Lithium pretty well. They're one of ours. Yeah.
I think David's there. David's the guy we talked to at Aztec. But yeah, could be Sean as well.
Cool. Yeah, if you get, it'd be brilliant when you get a case study, because I think again, part of the due diligence a lot of prospects do when they come talk to us, they want to speak to someone who's sort of got it working and leveraging it properly. And yeah, if you've got some people you're happy to recommend, obviously it'd be great if we obviously they're already ConnectWise partners, so it's sort of we will know of them. It's just if you guys have got people who you would recommend who are working well with you and us, then that'd be awesome.
Absolutely, that's really what we set up to do as well. We've got the one case study with Aztec. It's just been written. We're just waiting for their sign off on that, and we'll do some more as well. So we'll build that base up of reference customers that we can use. So yeah, agreed, and we'll keep you up to date with those as they come through, and very happy for you to share those stories as well, the reference case studies.
Lovely. Has anyone got anything else, or let everyone sort of break off for the day?
Just thanks. Yeah, thank you for taking us through that. Really great. Pretty excited actually to get talking to people about it.
Absolutely, as are we. So really appreciate all of your time today, and we look forward to working with you. We're very keen to help you at any deals, prospects that you're working with. Yeah, we're here to help, and yeah, thank you again, and look forward to a successful partnership together with this telecom opportunity. So thanks, everyone.
Nice one. Cheers, Mark. Cheers, Liston.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Thank you.